A crumbling skyline, overrun highways, and forests that have turned feral, this isn't fiction, it's the playground of our top 20 post-apocalypse games. Prepare for steampunk defenses, zombie hordes by the billions, and heart-stopping chase sequences. If you're hungry for chaos, smash that like button. Want more end-of-the-world deep dives? Subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss a Fallout. We want to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell us which apocalypse you'd survive, or maybe even thrive in. Let's get started. Kicking things off at number 20, Rage 2 slams me into the Wasteland as Walker, the last ranger wielding both a tricked-out boomstick shotgun and nanotrite superpowers. I roar down cracked highways in my customized buggy, leaving electric pink dust in my wake, then slam the brakes and blast mutants into confetti with a vortex charge. Every firefight feels like a fireworks finale, fiery explosions, shrapnel raining from broken steel, and the wingstick boomerang slicing through bandit armor before it even lands. Side missions spiral from rescuing stranded convoys to hijacking war rigs and boss-level showdowns, each encounter cranked to 11 by Avalanche's physics engine. Nanotrite abilities punctuate the chaos. Shatter rips bones from muscle, Berserk Rage mows through enemies in a red haze, and Vortex turns crowds into spinning nightmares. Post-launch expansions like Rise of the Ghosts add mech piloting mayhem, fresh enemy types, and secret maps that double the carnage. Free updates dropped one-wheeler stunt vehicles and cheat codes that push the power fantasy into absurd territory, demanding you earn them before bending reality. Rage 2 never asks me to slow down. Its vivid palette, radiant foliage sprouting through rusted cars, and pulse-pounding soundtrack fuse into a relentless adrenaline loop. And when I'm wiping mutant blood off my visor, I can't wait for the next ramp jump. But next, I'm trading Neon Mayhem for Radioactive Dread. Sliding into 19th place, Atomfall drops me into a quarantined lake district reeling from a fictional 1957 nuclear meltdown. I step into damp, moss-cloaked ruins, heart thudding so hard my vision swims as a Geiger counter ticks louder with each footstep. Scavenging scrap becomes a heartbeat ritual. I pry open corroded lockers for rifle parts, then craft makeshift weapons that crack like whips. The world's soaked in radioactive mist. Amber sunlight fights through ash clouds, so every sprint spikes my heart rate meter, warping sounds into ghostly warbles and twisting vision into a green-tinted haze. Atomfall steals breath through its heart rate system. Press too hard and your sight narrows, audio blurs, and stealth becomes survival. I stalk military bunkers, trading canned peaches with eccentric NPCs for Geiger upgrades, then choose blurred pistol fire or ghost quiet takedowns. Dialogue trees ripple into multiple endings, and piecing together cryptic logs feels like reconstructing a conspiracy buried beneath moss and metal. The Day 1 Game Pass launch popped Atomfall onto millions of PCs, and within weeks, 1.5 million players braved its stitched-together zones. Critics applauded the show-don't-tell world-building, even as melee timings felt rough around the edges. Rebellion's CEO teases a franchise, but only if budgets match the ambition. Ready for dimension-shredding thrills? Dropping in at 18th, Remnant from the Ashes throws me into a shifting third-person shooter where every world unfolds like a puzzle box. I'm a Ward 13 survivor, juggling shotguns and arcane mods, blink to teleport through bullets, bleed rounds to watch bosses dissolve in crimson. One run, I'm slogging through Corsus's bioluminescent swamps. The next, I'm scaling Yesha's crystalline citadels with procedurally spawned pathways that snap into place around my squad. Co-op amplifies the tension. Strangers can drop in, weapons drawn, and vanish when the loot's locked. Survival and Subject 2923 DLC layers on roguelike modes and narrative arcs that deepen the lore, making every death a lesson in trial and error glory. Unreal 4's lighting bathes each skirmish in moody shadows, while destructible scenery means cover never feels permanent. Loot strikes like lightning, a near god roll rifle in one fight, then nothing but scraps the next, so I'm always chasing that dopamine hit. Boss battles, towering root-infested behemoths test my team's coordination, sync teleport flanks, pop bleed mods, dodge shockwaves. When victory lands, the soundtrack swells and I taste triumph. Hold on tight, next I'm building communities while zombies close in. 17th on my list, State of Decay 2 hands me the reins of a ragtag community scraping by in zombie-choked suburbs. I survey a ramshackle base, gardens sprout among sandbags, solar panels hum on corrugated roofs, and survivors gather firewood beneath makeshift lights. Scavenging missions erupt into tense raids, sprinting past ferals that lunge from alley shadows or trading gunfire with raiders guarding food crates. Every decision cracks like a ledger entry. Do I risk ammo for medical supplies, or trade firewood for fresh faces to boost morale? Permadeath bites hard. Lose a veteran marksman, and a silence falls over camp. Co-op drop-ins mean allies can flip a tense raid into triumph, or leave me stranded behind a horde's teeth. Free DLC like Heartland introduces story missions that twist my loyalties, while the Juggernaut Edition's visual overhaul renders dusk's blood-red sky in crisp detail. Unreal 4's weather system blankets the world in rain or fog, altering zombie behavior and resource yields. Base building evolves from mortar ramps to thriving hubs, workshops craft ammo, watchtowers fend off attacks, and survivors earn unique traits that shape community arcs. State of Decay 2 isn't about escape, it's about stitching hope from scavenged parts. But now I'm venturing into Europe's deadliest exclusion zone. Sliding into 16th place, Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl drags me into a 64-kilometer exclusion zone sculpted by nightmares. I crouch beneath a flickering anomaly, heart pounding as radiation spikes my Geiger counter. Cracked concrete hides mutated boars, and faction battles, bandits ambushing scientists, mercs hunting mutants, erupt around me whether I engage or not. The A-Life 2.0 system runs on its own terms. NPCs barter artifacts, creatures clash, and alliances form in my absence. Unreal though breathes life into every leaf and shattered window. Dynamic foliage sways in radioactive winds. Volumetric lighting casts long shadows across flooded fields, and real-time physics splinter walls when bullets strike. Early patches smoothed crashes, but the zone's heartbeat stays uneven. And insects buzz, a distant rifle crack, always reminding me I'm a guest in a world gone mad. I barter for scope mods, then slip through no-go areas, hunting golden artifacts that hum with power. Stealth and firepower tango. A silenced Viper rifle can end a firefight before it starts. But sometimes only a hail of bullets buys time to duck into an anomaly's corroding tunnel. This isn't just survival, it's a study in chaos, and I'm scribbling notes in every bullet casing's dent. Hold your breath. Next, I'm vault hopping through city ruins where the infected stalk the shadows. At number 15, Dying Light 2, Stay Human flings me into a sprawling cityscape where parkour is my lifeline. I sprint across rooftops, cheek-kissing the edge of crumbling skyscrapers, heart thumping like tribal drums. By day, I vault over barricades and drop-kick infected into stunned clusters. By night, shifting hues warn that the infected evolve into alpha predators, hunting by sound. Parkour isn't flair, it's survival, wall running past spike traps, zip lining above toxic waste, and flipping onto enemy backs for brutal finishers. Narrative branches twist around my choices, help one faction, and another's gate slam shut. Techland's 5-year roadmap delivers New Game Plus, Arena DLC like Bloody Ties, and Nightmare Mode's permadeath pulse check, so every run feels fresh. Co-op ups the stakes, my friends can drop in, joining my story but carrying their own scars. C-Engine's physics crackle underfoot. Debris flies when I crash through windows, and volumetric dust kicks up with every parkour landing. Night cycles warp the skyline into a horror show, neon lights reflecting off puddles and flooded streets. Dying Light 2 isn't just a sequel, it's a living experiment, testing how far I'll push when the moon is high and monsters lurk. Next, I'm swapping cityscapes for Super Bloom Ruins. 14th. Far Cry New Dawn paints Hope County in radioactive purples and greens, nature's revenge splashed across reclaimed highways. I wake as the captain, rifle in hand, scavenging scrap to craft saw blade launchers and harpoon rifles that crack like thunder. Prosperity's survivors cheer as I fortify outposts, planting gardens, erecting watchtowers, and wiring alarms that shriek when highwaymen charge. The world recycles Far Cry 5's map but blooms anew. Vines choke gas stations, flowers burst through asphalt, and mutated wildlife roams sunlit fields. Expeditions fling me off map, storming Alcatraz's ghost prisons, or a crashed station orbiting the planet, each mission rewarding resources and backstory. RPG progression hooks me with perks. Shotgun Scavenger turns every shell casing into a bonus, while Medic Veins stitches allies mid-combat. Dunya 2's visuals beam HDR10 brilliance. Dust motes dance in sun shafts, and volumetric clouds cast dynamic shadows across dunes. Post-launch events and a free 60 FPS next-gen update keep the Gunsmoke fresh, even if the short campaign ends too soon. New Dawn isn't about bleak survival, it's about painting a vibrant apocalypse and planting seeds of hope amid the ruins. But the Gorefest kicks back into full swing next. 13th, Dead Island 2 slaps me onto a zombie-infested LA beachfront clutching a machete that gleams beneath the sun. Palm trees sway as I sprint down Venice Boulevard, limbs erupting in glorious carnage with every swing. Crafting stations let me fuse fire, acid, or even neon disco lights to my weapons, because nothing says party like a flaming chainsaw disco ball. Semi-open arenas brim with set-piece battles, from rooftop chases atop crowded hotels to an assault on a gated community overrun by the undead. Co-op's the real draw, up to 4 slayers carving synchronized kill streaks, zombies flying into the Pacific like grotesque fireworks. Unreal 4's gore physics deliver soggy splatters and ragdoll limbs that whirl in zero-gravity style. Post-launch, the House Story expansion adds new narrative twists, and the Sola Festival event unleashes neon zombies dancing to a synthwave beat. A free horde mode challenges me to survive endless waves, testing every crafted upgrade. 4 million sales later, Dead Island 2 stands as proof that a relentless, sun-soaked slaughter can still feel fresh. Ready for a trip back to Boston's frozen Fallout? Sliding into 12th place, Fallout 4 rips me from Vault 111 into a frost-cloaked Commonwealth in 2287. Pip-Boy buzzing, I stumble through snow-dusted streets, scanning for rad stags grazing among skeletal cars. Settlement building becomes my lifeline. I hammer boards onto broken windows, ignite generators, and watch settlers bloom from scraggly ruins into bustling towns. Crafting claws at me, salvaged pipes transform into laser muskets by day, and by night I'm hurling Fat Man nukes into raider camps. Dialogue choices crackle with weight, coax a traitor into peace, or blow open doors with authority. The creation engine streams seamless vistas, rolling hills dotted with derelict churches and rusted water towers, every corner hiding loot or lurking death claws. 6 DLCs bundled in the Game of the Year edition. Supercharge the adventure, Automatron's robot uprisings, Far Harbor's fog-shrouded mystery, Nuka World's fluorescent amusement parks crawling with bandits, and more. 12 million units shipped in 24 hours prove that even 2 centuries after the apocalypse, we're not sick of scavenging. But don't unpack just yet, I'm chasing hacked turrets across decaying skyscrapers. Dropping into 11th, Enslaved Odyssey to the West straps me into Monkey's boots, yanking me across overgrown megastructures as Trip's booby-trapped harness glints in the sun. We vault through shattered highways entwined with vines, our banter echoing off rusted girders like a punchy buddy comedy. Combat's a rhythmic dance. My staff flows through combo chains. Trip hacks turrets and revives me with a spark of electricity when I botch a leap. Environmental puzzles demand synced moves. She powers ancient consoles, I hold collapsing platforms, while performance capture magic from Andy Serkis and Lindsay Shaw injects raw emotion into every grunt and quip. Unreal 3's streaming keeps me hurtling from lush jungle chasms to crumbling city canyons without a hitch. Storming into 10th place, They Are Billions traps me in a steampunk nightmare where colonists and clockwork meet an endless sea of infected. I erect timber palisades and crank coal generators, juggling gold, food, oil, and stone like a frantic puppet master. Every 30 minutes, a horde of billions descends, battering my walls with catapults and relentless push. So I tweak choke points, layer spike traps, and pray my sniper towers don't jam. One misstep in resource allocation and the swarm floods through, turning my proud colony into a smoking ruin. Numantian Games nailed that sweet spot between classic RTS and nail-biting survival. I swap workers for soldiers on the fly, upgrade units with perks earned through pixelated bloodshed, and watch procedurally generated maps toss fresh challenges my way. The new Empire campaign threads narrative beats through handcrafted crafted sieges, but it's the endlessly randomized survival mode that hooks me. Every win feels earned, every loss a brutal lesson. Free updates even ported the campaign to consoles, but Numantian stayed lean, focusing on balance over bells and whistles. They are billions isn't a stroll in the park, it's a sprint through Inferno, and when my colonists cheer after repelling Wave 50, I taste victory in every charred corpse. But throttle back, next I'm trading zombie hordes for turbocharged carnage. Burning rubber into 9th place, Mad Max thrusts me into the sun-scorched wasteland as a lone road warrior chasing the ultimate battle car. I roar across rusted highways in the magnum opus, skull bumper gleaming, while marauders sprawl in my tire tracks. On-foot fights blend Arkham-style counters with brutal finishers, each thwack of my wrench against a bandit's skull echoing through empty factories. Avalanche's Apex engine churns up dust storms and crumples metal as I swap scavenged parts for flamethrowers, harpoons, and spiked bumpers. Every scrap run feels personal. Dodge tornado-scoured plains, clear spider-infested caverns, then ambush a convoy for fresh gears. Boss battles pit me against warlord rigs and thunderous duels, each collision rattling my teeth. 4 cosmetic DLC packs let me bedazzle the magnum opus for free, because style survives even when civilization doesn't. Mad Max isn't subtle poetry, it's a diesel-fueled scream, but when I barrel roll through a roadblock, spray gasoline over the crowd, and ignite my foes, I feel like apex predator of a world gone mad. Ready for a trip back to the Mojave's neon glow? Sliding into 8th place, Fallout New Vegas spits me out as the courier on a sun-baked highway through the irradiated Mojave. My Pip-Boy buzzes with faction alerts, NCR caravans clashing with Caesar's Legion under caked-on dust. I barter weapon mods with ghouls for uranium rounds, then tiptoe into the neon oasis of the Strip, where roulette wheels and danger spin in equal measure. Obsidian's branching reputation system turns every choice into high-stakes poker. Side with Mr. House and his Securitron's hum approval, or rally the boomers for aerial bombardments on enemy camps. Hardcore mode keeps me thirsty and hungry, so every bite of irradiated rat feels like breakfast. Dialogue stretch longer than desert days, but Chris Avallone's writing sparks dark humor and gut-punch drama. The Premium Edition bundles all 4 DLCs, Old World Blues' Mad Science, Lonesome Road's brooding finale, so I never run out of twisted adventures. Even 14 years later, New Vegas' wild emergent moments, 2 rival gangs trading bullets at dawn, then calling a truce to share whiskey, keep me coming back to Vegas' dust-choked neon. But buckle up, next I'm rolling into DC's Broken Monuments. Parking in 7th, Tom Clancy's The Division 2 drops me into a deserted Washington, D.C., where bullet-riddled Lincoln memorials echo with solar flare alarms. I suit up as an agent, slinging custom rifles and turret drones against warring factions under Snowdrop's real-time grime. Cover-based firefights crackle with tactical depth. I time-seeker mine ambushes, swap skill trees on the fly, and coordinate with 3 buddies in 8-player raids. Dark Zone PvPv flirts with betrayal. Turn your back for a second, and another agent loots your hard-earned stash. Free Burden of Truth content kept the hype alive into 2025, and seasonal global events demand fresh strategies under dynamic modifiers. The Division 2 isn't just shooting, it's a living sandbox. Whether I'm repelling human enemies or fighting for clean water, every mission hums with emergent drama, and when I finally topple Keener's stronghold, the city rattles with my victory. Next stop, parkour-fueled rooftop chases. Vaulting into 6th place, Dying Light flings me into Heron's hellscape where every rooftop feels like salvation, and beneath it, death waits. By day, I sprint across crumbling balconies, hoarding scrap metal and crafting spiked bats, UV grenades, and Molotov cocktails. Sunlight reveals zombies shuffling through dusty streets, sluggish, but still dangerous in numbers. As dusk falls, a blood-red sky warns that volatiles awaken, blind predators hunting by sound. The world flips into a nightmare. I clutch walls, cling to shadows, and pray my makeshift weapons hold up. Techland's sea engine stitches seamless parkour into survival, rope grappling between towers, wall running past snarling undead, and vault kicking foes into dumpster pits for dramatic flair. 4-player co-op turns solo terror into coordinated chaos. Friends can drop in mid-mission, sharing loot or drawing hordes away on dune buggies from the following expansion. That pack throws open countryside roads, letting me roar across dirt tracks in a muscle-powered buggy that flips the formula from claustrophobic terror to widescreen mayhem. Be the Zombie mode flips the script. I morph into a volatile at night, shrieking through alleyways to ambush 3 unsuspecting survivors in a tense PvP twist. 10 free 10 and 12 content drops, crossbows, flamethrowers, seasonal events, kept Heron buzzing through 2018. 24 million units sold prove this brutal ballet of parkour and gore still slays the competition. Hold your breath, next I'm racing across frozen deserts aboard a steam locomotive. Exploring into 5th place, Horizon Forbidden West lets me slip into Aloy's boots again, diving into submerged ruins and scaling overgrown redwood cliffs. I snag a pullcaster cable, fling myself across chasms, then let Shieldwing carry me above machine herds grazing beneath kelp forests. Underwater caverns glint with treasure, and surface biomes teem with thunderjaw behemoths that roar like steam engines. Gorilla's Decima engine paints each biome in lush color, sunlight dancing through divers' bubbles, fog drifting across desert dune fields. Skill trees branch deeper. I weave between hunter stealth, warrior carnage, and trapper snares, while crafting potions from wild plants. Burning Shores expansion drags me into volcanic LA archipelago, where Hellfire spears pierce molten metal and Valor Surge buffs turn me into a 1-minute god. Forbidden West's side quest rival main story for heart and humor. I broker peace between warring tribes or thwart bandit art thieves mid-parkour, and now that the complete edition sits on PC, more players gasp at Aloy's world. Next, I'm swapping Green Forest for Frozen Colorado Wastes. Rolling into 4th, Wasteland 3 stations me in Colorado's ice-locked hell. My squad of Arizona Rangers huddled behind Kodiak's turrets as snowplows screech outside. I customize my team, shotgunner, demolition specialist, even a talking cactus. Then blast cultists and mutated beasts in isometric combat that snaps like a board game on steroids. Unity's engine renders frosted forests and frozen towns with crisp volumetric fog that drips from bullet wounds. Every dialogue choice with rival heirs to the Patriarch ripples through branching narratives. Side with the fanatical cult in Cheyenne Mountain DLC, or torch Steeltown's factories in a blaze of moral ambiguity. 2 paid expansions and free seasonal kits keep my game fresh, while cooperative mode lets a friend steer the Kodiak into enemy lines. Wasteland 3 isn't just turn-based firefights, it's a moral crucible in tundra, and when I mercy kill an innocent to save my ranger's life, I feel the weight of every bullet fired. Yet the road isn't done. Next, I'm throttling through the Pacific Northwest's freaker swarms. Roaring into 3rd place, Days Gone tosses me onto my rig in a rain-soaked Oregon highway, engine growling as thousands of freakers stampede in my rear view. I gun the throttle, dodge fallen signposts, then skid into a horde, crafting Molotovs on the fly to clear a path. Unreal Engine 4's Freako System AI churns out swarms from 12 to 1,000, each encounter a heart and throat spectacle. By day I scavenge bike parts and sniper ammo, by night I sneak into abandoned camps under torchlight, silencer whispering through the dark. Free survival difficulty and horde assault modes test my nerves, while upcoming Broken Road DLC adds fresh story beats this April. Deacon's voice rasps in my ear as I trade banter with fellow drifters, and every mile on that motorcycle feels earned. Fuel dwindles, parts wear down, and the living world fights back. Hold steady, next I'm trading open roads for snowy deserts in Metro's epic journey. Thundering into 2nd place, Metro Exodus yanks me from claustrophobic tunnels onto the sun-bleached steppes of post-nuclear Russia. I strap on a gas mask, filter ticking down as I loot every derelict train car for ammo, food, and precious filter canisters. The Aurora, our battered steam locomotive, rumbles westward through sand-scoured deserts, radioactive forests, and ice-clad villages, each semi-open region offering multiple paths and hidden caches. 1 minute I'm sniping mutants from a rusted water tower. The next, I'm slipping through snowdrifts, crafting makeshift grenades from scrap metal, 4A Games' upgraded 4A engine paints every sunshaft, dust swirl, and frostbitten breath in breathtaking detail. Realistic weather systems whip up blizzards that shred visibility, while volumetric lighting casts long shadows in abandoned carnivals and flooded caverns. The story beat crackles with camaraderie and dread. Fellow survivors huddle in heated cabins debating the cost of hope as wolves circle outside. Expansion chapters deepen the journey. The Two Colonels casts me as a sniper in sun-baked steppes, stalking threats under a blistering sky. Sam's story races me along the Pacific coast, chasing messages of survival and redemption. Every choice, kill that bandit, spare the child, echoes through the Aurora's corridors. By its 5th anniversary, Exodus had shipped over 10 million copies, proving that nothing feels as alive as a world reborn from ash. Brace yourself, this is the final stop. Sliding into the top spot, The Last of Us Part 2 drags me back into America's ravaged ruins, this time through Ellie's haunted eyes. I stalk crumbling suburbs by moonlight, blade in hand, stalking infected and the very people I once called friends. Every stealth kill snaps necks with bone-shattering impact. Every firefight pulses with danger as clickers skitter from shadows and hostile factions circle like wolves. Naughty Dog's upgraded engine bathes the world in cinematic dimension. Shattered glass glitters under rain-slick street lamps, and motion-mapped animations catch every tremor in Ellie's jaw. The narrative splits my soul in two, first through Ellie's vengeance-driven rampage, then Abby's conflicted struggle for redemption, each perspective reframing the violence I once cheered. Crafting feels visceral. I stitch blades from scavenged metal, rig nail boards on doors, and brew health kits from stolen ingredients. Advanced AI flanks and hunts in coordinated packs, so even a single misstep can spiral into panic. Upon launch, Part 2 shattered records, 4 million units in its first week, then polled as the most awarded game ever, sweeping hundreds of Game of the Year honors. The April 2025 PC remaster cranks textures to ultra realism, so every raindrop on Ellie's jacket sings with detail. The Last of Us Part 2 isn't just a game, it's a gut punch that echoes long after the credits roll. And that wraps our countdown of 20 unforgettable wastelands, from steampunk sieges to vengeance-fueled rampages. If your pulse is still racing, show some love, like this video, subscribe for more wild game breakdowns, and leave a comment on which ruined realm stole your heart. And remember, even when the world's ash settles, hope rides in on the roar of a revved-up engine.